Today is November 11th, and this is Conversations from Stritch. Good afternoon, everyone. We are glad to be back for another episode of Conversations from Stritch, and I'm glad to be joined by Dr. Christopher Sint, our provost. Happy Veterans Day to all of our veterans. We really want to acknowledge today, even as we begin the show, we'll get back to it with our guest, all of our students, faculty, staff, and alumni who are veterans today. We honor your service and your sacrifice, and we're really grateful for it. And as I said, we'll get back to that topic later on. I did want to offer a few initial comments, some things that have been going on in the last week. We had our campus visit day last Saturday, our second of the fall kind of season. Great turnout, about 188 students and their families, so nearly 600 people that were on campus. I want to again thank everyone who helped with Visit Day, faculty and staff who make the campus look beautiful and offer our prospective students a glimpse into the majors and the opportunities that they might have if they join us next fall or the fall after that. We have our last fall Visit Day on December 4th. So if you know anybody in your extended family or friends who are thinking they're a senior or junior in high school, or they're at a community college and thinking about schools, invite them to sign up for the December 4th Visit Day. This week, we are celebrating first generation students on campus with a series of events that support our students, including resources on mental health, career preparation opportunities, and the week of programming concludes this afternoon at 2 with an alumni panel discussion. So please, if you're a first-gen student and you want to hear a little bit more from our alumni base, and remember we have about 40,000 flyers out there around the world who are doing amazing things. It also is National Vocational Awareness Week this week, and the annual national celebration is dedicated to promoting vocations in ordained ministries and religious life through prayer and education. Here at Lewis University, we also use this time to celebrate and give thanks to the De La Salle Christian Brothers who sponsor Lewis University. There was a great video that went out this week, an interview of 4 of our brothers, many of whom started very early on when Lewis became a LaSallian University. And it was just great to hear both their stories and their laughter and some of the ups and downs that Lewis has gone through. I also want to say that this week, yesterday, we did our land acknowledgement. It was a great ceremony in the Darcy Room in which, and a land acknowledgement, for those that aren't familiar with it, is a formal statement that recognizes Indigenous people as stewards of the land on which our campus is located. Our land acknowledgement calls us to show deference to the ongoing connection that is ever present between Indigenous people, the native peoples of our lands, and their traditional lands. The intent is to acknowledge this bond and our awareness of history and our understanding of our modern day place and our roles and responsibilities in relationship to that history. Acknowledging the land is an important development within Lewis's commitment and continual aspiration to be a just, welcoming, and inclusive environment. It was a really great event. I must say, we had one of our students who did a dance and her brother played the drum and sang, and it was just one part, but I want to thank the history department, Dr. Christy Billups and Dr. Christy Kelly, and everybody who was involved in preparing the event. It really ended up being I thought an amazing event, and we'll remind ourselves on a regular basis that this studio, our entire campus is on lands in which native peoples lived centuries ago. So we want to acknowledge that. So Dr. Sint, thanks for joining me again. It is Great to be with you, and we're excited about our guest today, but we have some other news that is going on campus.
News to talk about. Hi, welcome everyone, or hello everyone. It's great to be here with you. And I'm just always blown away by how much is going on our campus from a week-to-week basis, and so much happening this week and more. A couple bits of news. The Zeta Chi chapter in Lewis University's College of Business was recently recognized by the National Business Fraternity Delta Sigma Pi for its outstanding service. The National Award for Outstanding Service award for a collegiate chapter is presented on an annual basis to the collegiate chapter of Delta Sigma Pi that plans and implements the most effective and comprehensive program of service to others. So that's a big award, and so grateful and congratulations to everyone in the College of Business who made this possible, in so just deeply aligned with our mission and our commitment to service as a university. So it's really cool to be recognized for that nationally. The Illinois Association of School Nurses recently honored Dr. Dina Hinkle as the 2021 School Nurse of the Year. The recognition was for her work at District 102 in Lake County prior to her June departure from that position. Dr. Hinkle joined our faculty recently as an assistant professor and school nurse program coordinator in the College of Nursing and Health Sciences. So it's wonderful that she's joined our community and as a leader of our school nurse program, and we all know that's just such an important topic right now out there in the Chicagoland area, to have excellent school nurses who are under a lot of pressure and have really complex jobs always, and especially recently. Staying in the theme of nursing, Dr. Nancy Ryland, our great friend of the show, associate professor and coordinator of continuing education, and a COVID hotline team member, recently co-authored an article called Integration of Motivational Interviewing Within Pre-Licensure Nursing Programs at the Nurse Educator website. So congratulations to Nancy. So some athletics news. We're getting a little crossover of sports again this week. So that's
this week is that transitional time. I would say this month is the transitional time. Just as you said, Chris, it's amazing all the activities that are happening. When we walk across campus on a regular basis just to see all that's going on. But a few things for a couple teams that are ending their seasons. Our men's and women's cross-country teams both have received bids for the NCAA championships, which take place Saturday, November 20th. Really huge congratulations, because that is a real testament to have. We often have 5 or 6, 7 of our teams that might end up in the national championship tournament. It's great to kind of start the year with the first national championships and having both our men's and women's teams be invited to that and qualify for it. Our men's and women's soccer team both had tough losses to Drury on Sunday in the first round GLVC tournament. I got to say that it was really painful. Double overtime for the men's soccer team, and I was there, and it was just, such a hard-fought battle throughout the whole match. The men's team, though, the rankings came out for the Midwest region, and they were ranked 7th. The top 8 teams get an NCAA berth, and so we may end up with 3 out of the 4 teams in terms of cross-country and soccer ending up in the national tournament. That will be announced. So those of you that are soccer fans and you don't want the season to end, pay attention on Monday, November 15th. The announcement for the 64, I'm pretty sure it's a 64-team tournament, will be announced on Monday. And if everything stands as it is, we should end up as one of those teams in our regional. Heading into the final weekend of the regular season, Lewis University's women's volleyball team, which is ranked 20th in the country, looks to clinch its 2nd straight GLVC conference regular season championship. They've had a great season so far. The Flyers will take on McKendree Friday evening, and then will travel to Southern Indiana on Saturday afternoon. They need 1 win this weekend to clinch the championship, so hopefully they can win 1 out of 2. That definitely seems within their wheelhouse. Lewis University's women's basketball team heads north to Michigan's Upper Peninsula this weekend to tip off its 2021-2022 season. The Flyers open the season on Saturday morning against Michigan Tech at 10. And then on Sunday, they will take on Northern Michigan at 1:15. The men's basketball team tips off their 2021-2022 season this Friday at home. We are hosting the GLVC GLIAC Challenge here, just like our women are going to that, but they're going to these two conferences. They're going up to Michigan, but we will be taking on Northern Michigan Friday night at 8 and Michigan Tech on Saturday at 3. But there's also games between McKendree and Michigan Tech at 6 and Saturdays between McKendree and Northern Michigan on 1. And just on a side note there, the president of McKendree, who's in our conference, who I've gotten to know, he is coming up tomorrow because he wants to kind of see the first game for the basketball season. So I'm hoping I'll be able to take him around and do a little tour of campus. But it's great to have, we do know that one of the great things that we're able to do when we host these things, Chicago is such a big market that parents and friends and sisters and brothers from McKendree, Northern Michigan, Michigan Tech, who live in the Chicago suburbs, it gives them an opportunity to not travel as far and come to a game to see their team. But hopefully we'll have 4 wins on the basketball court this weekend. To keep up to date on all the Lewis sports, visit theLewisFlyers.com or at Lewis Flyers on Twitter. So we remain, Chris, vigilant on the COVID front. And I know you have some updates just in terms of how we're doing as a community and the broader national, state, and local scene.
Yeah, we'd just like to quickly share our usual metrics for this week. Really notable is on the very top of the screen there, the number of cases per 100,000 in Will County is at 154. If you're paying close attention, you're noticing that those numbers are going up. This is the second week they have gone up, so that's a little concerning for the area that we're located in terms of some growth in COVID-19 in the community. In our own community, we had 6 cases connected to our members of our community last week and 3 so far this week, so continuing to have very little impact in our community. The vaccination rates in Will County are up to 60% fully vaccinated, and in the Lewis community, we're at 91% and 90% and 93% for residential students. And again, we're most pleased and proud of the 95% student reporting number, even with a new 8-week term starting recently and many new students coming to Lewis just a couple weeks ago. We're still keeping that engagement really high. So thank you to everyone in our Lewis community for participating in the vaccination effort on campus. And thank you, of course, for our COVID hotline team who's managing this. And just a couple of reminders. We continue to have weekly testing on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, Tuesday mornings and Wednesday midday. There will be no testing on November 24th, the day before Thanksgiving. And if you are traveling for the Thanksgiving weekend, please consider testing before traveling. And just the usual reminder that unvaccinated individuals in the community must submit testing results before Thursday every week at 6 p.m. to avoid fines and registration holds. Registration starts Monday, November 15th, 4 days from now. Is that right? 3-4 days from now? Yep. So please, if you make sure you're abiding by the testing policy if you are not vaccinated in order to be able to register on time next week. And then tomorrow, we have a booster clinic here on campus from 11 to 3. So for everyone who is qualified for a booster, please take advantage of that opportunity to do it conveniently here on campus. So that's that. We're really excited today to welcome our guest. Our focus today, as Dr. Livingston said, is Veterans Day, and Lewis is nationally recognized as one of the best colleges in the state and country for veterans. We have about 300 veteran students, about 150 active duty service members in our student population. And so we are really, really just so happy to be celebrating that. So much happened this week.
Didn't even
I
mention.
forgot to say that we had a Veterans Day celebration on Tuesday.
It was.
Feels like
Hard to
a long time
remember.
ago to me, but yeah, it was this week. So that was just wonderful to be there and to celebrate Veterans Day and the service of our veteran and military community at that event. But we're so happy today to welcome Barbara Karabanowska. She was born in Poland, moved with her family to the United States when she was 13 years old, joined the Navy when she was 21 as an electrician's mate, but was then handpicked to serve as a special duty command in Washington, D.C., called the Ceremonial Guard. They took part in the presidential inauguration, Pentagon events, and all of the official military ceremonies, as well as Navy funerals that took place in Arlington Cemetery. So really interesting service that we can't wait to ask about. She also served on the USS George H.W. Bush as an electrician, and she is now completing her degree in finance at Lewis, and I believe she's graduating in December. So welcome, Barbara.
Thank you.
So great to be here with you.
Is that right? You're graduating in December?
Yes.
That's
what
awesome.
I'm hoping for.
Ah,
Thank
congratulations. That'll be great. I love handing you your diploma. So that'll be
Yeah.
exciting. So tell me a little bit about this this special guard that does all these really amazing events that many of us watch from our TVs in our living rooms. But kind of how did you get into that? Did you want to be in it? Did you know about it? And what was it like?
So when I went to boot camp, it was in 2015. They actually recruit you from boot camp.
Okay.
Nobody really knows about it. So they pick certain people that passed their fitness tests. You had to be a certain height to do it.
Interesting.
And they basically picked few people from each unit. So I was picked a week before I graduated, actually. It was a really honorable service that I did over there. I was in a firing party, which we did the gun salute for at funerals in Arlington Cemetery.
I think like you said, we've all seen those
Yeah,
on
yes.
television, if not in person.
Yeah, that's amazing. And how long is that rotation, as you say? So they pick people out of every kind of group that's going to boot camp. So is that a 3-month? Is it a 6-month, 9-month? Is it 2 weeks? I don't know.
It was actually, usually it's 2 years.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
So I actually completed 1,400 funerals in Arlington Cemetery.
Wow.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a quite a while, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, and I think even in subsumed in that story, Barbara, is that sense of over a 2-year period, 1,400 men and women made that ultimate sacrifice. So that is a real, sometimes people don't think we're at war, or they don't realize the costs that veterans and families who have to come to Arlington and say their final goodbyes. So it's sobering, I guess is what I would say. So thank you so much for that service that you did.
Thank you.
So maybe we can back up a little bit. I'm curious. So gathering from your biography that you're from Illinois, or you immigrated to Illinois.
Yes.
And were from here before you joined the military. So maybe talk a little bit about where that was, and then about how you made the decision to join the Navy.
So I moved here when I was 13. My mother remarried. And it was a hard transition to come over here. I did not speak a word of English.
Well, you
at
do it
that
very well
time.
now.
Thank
So
you.
well done, Barbara.
Thank you. And I actually went to school in Lockport High School.
Oh, wow.
And then I went to college, which at the time I did not know what I wanted to study. So I decided to join the military. when I was 21 years old. And it was one of the best decisions I made in my life. I have only good memories from over there.
Wonderful.
So,
And did you decide, you joined as an electrician, did you have experience with that before, or was that just attractive for some reason as a...
I did not have experience as an electrician, but they send you to to school. It's called A school. Is where you learn all the basics, but the actual training is when you get on a ship.
Okay.
So I did not do my electrician job for the first 3 years of the Navy since I was in DC.
Right.
So I only did 1 year of duty as an electrician.
And so tell me about what, so you're sitting there at 20 or 21 and you're thinking about, I'm always interested in whether it's the Navy that attracts somebody or the military, and then I have to choose among the branches, right? So were you more attracted to, like, I've always wanted to spend time on ships, I'd love to kind of really see the world, that's really attractive to me, or I want to be in the military, and then of these 5 branches, this seems the best fit. How did that play out for you, and when did you start thinking about this? Did you start thinking about it at 16, or was it, halfway through being 20?
So it was actually when I was 20.
Okay.
Me and my sister decided to go to a recruiter. The reason why I picked the Navy is because you get to travel, and other branches I didn't think that they travel as much. So that is why I picked Navy in particular, and they had really pretty uniforms. So.
Well said.
That's great.
I didn't get to travel much, but
Yeah, that sounds...
but everything that I did, I think it was for the right reasons.
So you mentioned it was a very positive experience. Maybe just tell us a little bit about, like, what are some of the things you miss and don't miss about it?
So usually you miss the friends that you make, and it's really hard leaving because you stay with them, you basically become a family. You're forced to be with them all the time, you get to know each other, and then all of a sudden it comes time for them to leave. So that is the people that I made the most memories with.
And was that primarily the people in this ceremonial honor guard, because you spent those 2 years with them more than the people that you were on the H.W. Bush with, because you just had more time with them?
Yes,
Yeah.
and you go through training together also.
Yeah.
You spend every day doing 6 funerals or ceremonies a day. So and then you go home with them too, because they're your roommates and you live in the same building.
Right.
I'm still friends with all of them. I recently went to Hawaii to visit one of my friends who's
nice.
stationed over there. So they're very impactful things.
Yeah.
Sure.
Definitely the people that you serve with.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you have a friend who's still, assigned you're still in the military, and so was it a hard decision for you to leave or to go to college, or how was that? How did you make that decision?
So I always knew that I was going to get out after 4 years.
Okay.
So that was a decision that I made before. A lot of people they decide to stay, and I did stay in the military. I'm currently in the reserves. So it's really hard leaving everything behind.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I did stay, but my enlistment ends in June of 2022.
Oh, okay.
And so you said, so I just want to follow up on a small comment you made. You said that you went with your sister to enlist, or you talked about, did your sister enlist?
She
Is
did.
she still in? Or did she do her 4 years as well, and now she's out? And what is she doing with her life? I mean, it's none of my business, but I'm just interested
That's
in,
okay.
asking about another veteran that you happen to know.
So my sister joined 6 months before me.
Okay.
She was an aero electrician.
Okay.
She is currently studying engineering in University of Maryland.
Oh, very good. Very good.
So that's where she is at.
Wonderful.
She did leave, and she did not re-enlist in the reserves. So
Yeah. It's great. It's, and I have to say, Barbara, and, maybe we can then move a little bit into Lewis as a community in terms of veterans that we have here and why you chose Lewis in terms of continuing your education. But maybe you could start by talking a little bit about how it's been at Lewis, the veterans community here, again, that I don't know if it was about being back by home, and then Lewis was a school for veterans that was right around the corner from Lockport, and you're still that was where family was, or if it was something else in terms of the finance major or any of those things. So tell me a little bit about that transition and how you ended up at Lewis and how that. I mean, even for some of our people that might be watching, what is it about Lewis and Lewis's relationship to veterans that you have found valuable?
Of course. So, number one, my sister went here to school before me.
Okay.
She studied criminal justice, and she loved being here as well. It is close, but that's not the reason why I chose. And also, Lewis University is known to be one of the best schools for veterans around here. So I did make the right decision, that's for sure.
So how give me a little, give our audience, because I know some of this, but give our audience a little sense of, because we do talk about that. Chris and I have said that before. We've talked about veterans issues before on here. So what are the characteristics of Lewis that make it one of the best schools for veterans? From your perspective as a veteran, like what's been good for you as a veteran, not just as a student?
So the process of getting your school paid for has been made really easy by the office that we have over here. The guidance that I receive from Mr. Scott Inskib and Mr. Roman Ortega, they are very helpful with whatever I need at all times. So whenever I need something, I can just call them and let them know. I am also a student worker at the Military Resource Office. So we do help out people who are trying to join, want to learn more about the benefits. Today we actually have free snacks and drinks for our veterans.
Because of Veterans Day, sure.
Yeah, so we send out messages to everyone just to include people in. So that's what I've been working on lately, to just build a bigger community of veterans in the school.
Well, it's such a big organization, the military. I mean, the government is massive. The military is such a huge part of it. So I think that's, what you said in terms of maybe making the ease with which a student can come in and take advantage of their benefits, because we have some great professionals there, and because they serve so many veterans on a year in and year out basis, we've gotten good processes in place. Because the government can be very frustrating.
Of course.
Right, as we all know. And that's not it's such a huge organization. It's a bureaucracy. It can just be very difficult. And I know that there are some times where, in any industry, banking, we get the most frustrating part is just kind of being left on hold, so to speak. That frustration of the customer service. And what I'm hearing from you is the veteran service part of our organization has made it smooth for you, and that makes it easy, because you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about the benefits. You don't have to worry about making sure the paperwork's going to get processed. And I think that is something that we want to make sure people know, because we want it to be easy. We don't want that. That's not. You should be worried about your class in finance, not about how to finance your education, so to speak. So
nice.
Yeah, I do enjoy that. It's been made really easy for us to do so. I do help out with that in the office, but it's not very hard to help people that are seeking for it.
But for the student coming in the first time, it would been it might be hard for them as an individual.
Yes,
but
they
because
wouldn't
you
know the process.
Right, which is
so we do help them with the process, getting all their paperwork intact and just submitting it.
So what? Go ahead, Chris.
That's okay.
Well, I was just going to ask what's next, but
Yeah. Oh no, I have more.
Yeah,
questions.
that's what
I just want to talk a little bit about your studies. So,
Of course.
and I'm just really curious about, and maybe you talk about this in the veteran community at Lewis. But what about the military, about being in the military, helps prepare you for college, and in terms of, I don't want to predict anything, but I always think of habits and discipline and things like that might be helpful to.
So it was definitely discipline. When I was younger, most young people are not so good at getting themselves to do everything that they need to do. And in the military, you have to do it or else. So that's how my mindset is right now. And now I have to use my benefits in a certain amount of time. So I'm just doing my best to get all the good grades and have my GPA up all the way. So
Wonderful. And maybe transitioning into the future, how did you choose the finance degree, and why?
The reason why I chose finance degree is because when I was in the military, they teach you a lot about finances. They help you set up your retirement account. They help you get loans. But a lot of people, they just go to those meetings because they're mandatory and they don't really learn anything about it. So I took it upon myself to learn about it for me and for my own benefit. And then I asked people around, like how the retirement account is doing, and like if they're making any money on it, if they are investing in the right bonds. And a lot of people did not know. They were just like, oh, like it's just been there since boot camp, that I just left it over there like that. And I taught them how to, where to put their money, where would be the best place to do that so they can succeed in the future and retire with ease. So.
And so how has the finance program been here for you? You came in with some knowledge. Obviously, you're leaving with more. Any highlights to the finance program for you that you like? I was, maybe I was so surprised to learn this, or I feel so confident in this, or any of that kind of stuff around your finance major?
So one of the things that I was afraid of when I first started school was math. But the teachers that I had in Lewis University, they made it like very easy for me to learn and pay attention to.
Good.
I never thought that I would be interested in taxes, but my current teacher is doing a really good job engaging us.
That's great. That's great.
In it too. So I think that the College of Business is doing a good job with its students as well.
That's great. And so what might be next, or where, 5 years from now, where might you want to be? Do you want to be working at a kind of a investment firm? Do you want to be working at a bank? Do you want to, where do you want to?
So right now I am actually applying for internships. What I am looking for, my dream job would be to do personal finance and help people with their budgets. So that is what I am looking for.
Okay, that's great.
Wonderful.
That's great.
So great to talk with you.
Thank you.
I think we want to, maybe to close, share a little information, and you're probably the best person to do it here among the three of us. But we have a little information to share on a couple of slides around the Office of Military Affairs and what it offers. So, Barbara, do you want to explain some of these things?
Of course. So right now I have been working on the PAVE program, which is Peer Advising for Military Education. So I have a couple of volunteers that I work with, and I assign them our first year students for now. And we basically ask them if they're doing okay, how their school is going, if they need any help, just to know that they have someone there for them, that they don't necessarily have to go in the office and send an official email. It can just be, friend to friend. So that is one of the
That's great.
that is one of the resources that we do have. We also help students who want to join the military.
And what percentage, if I could just ask, like, of the people that you interact with on a regular basis, how many are ROTC, you know, they're wanting to become military, and how many of them are in the military? Because I know you help both, right?
Yes.
You help people who are saying, I'm thinking about this, I want to do this, or I've made a commitment to ROTC, and then you're also, and is the peer-to-peer work for both of those communities? That is both a student who might be in ROTC or considering, and also I'm a first-year student and I just got out of the military, and now I have somebody who's a senior who's helping me. How does that?
So that is how it works. I have students who have been in Lewis for a while as volunteers, and we reach out to all of the students that have anything to do with the military that are using their benefits.
Okay.
ROTC, I do not interact with a lot of ROTC people since they are in a different office.
Right.
But we do reach out to everyone that has a military affiliation through the peer-to-peer advisor program.
It's such a great program.
Yeah.
Maybe we could look at the
second
second slide and go through some of that. Veterans of America?
Yes. So SVA, Student Veterans of America chapter. I recently went to ISU in Normal, Illinois for a conference. And it's a program which advocates for veterans.
Okay.
So that is what I've been working on to have a chapter in our school. Then Bridges to Employment. We help veterans transfer their military career into civilian life. We have a gathering of employees who talk to our veterans and help them maybe get a job.
Ally training?
I'm sorry?
Ally training? Do you work on that?
That I do not work on. That is somebody else's.
It's such a great program. I know we sometimes have faculty and staff watching, and it's just to know that it exists, and that if you're interested in any kind of special knowledge about working with veterans in our community, it's a great way of getting more engaged in working and being an ally.
And also Student Veterans of America, they do send us opportunities for volunteering to help veterans that live around us. Next week, on the weekend, we actually have a volunteer program. It's building a house for a veteran.
Oh, great.
So
that's
I am
great.
going to go to that.
That was great.
We recently also had the military student community, residence wing. We got a donation, and it's a hall for where veterans get priority registration for it. There is every single student has their own room. There's also a community kitchen, and they are not required to be on the meal plan. So that is something we have for our veteran students.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I think we met at that
Yes,
event,
we
right?
did.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
It was
That
the
was a great
opening
event.
of it.
Yeah,
It really was.
So Barbara mentioned it, but of course, thank you so much to Scott Inskeep and Roman Ortega for this great work that has created this community and done it in such a way where it's efficient and helpful with the technicalities, as well as creating a great community of veterans at our campus. So thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Barbara. As we wrap up the show, I just want to say again how grateful we are to all of our veterans throughout, really what is a community of about 50,000 people around the globe. Our 7,000 or so employees and students here on campus today, but also the 40+ thousand alumni that we have, so many of which are veterans or have somebody in their family. a parent or a brother and sister who have been in the military. So we just want to, thank them so much for their service today. We're so grateful. And of course, we want to remember in our prayers, we do have Memorial Day, but I think also on this day, remembering all the people, certainly that Barbara, was a part of their final resting in Arlington National Cemetery, but really all the people who we've lost. I know my dad was a veteran and he died about 14 years ago. So many of us have members of our family that are no longer with us, so we want to remember them for their service as well. So I wish you a great rest of the week, a wonderful weekend. Again, stop out and see the basketball team and pay attention on Monday in terms of the soccer announcement. And, again, there's so much stuff going on. We mentioned several of them, booster shots. The Mark Swain's art is up in the art gallery. So there's just so much going on campus. Make sure you take advantage of it. Thanks again to Barbara for joining us, and Dr. Sant for joining me on the show on a regular basis. Have a wonderful weekend. Many blessings to you and your family.